damaged in this way cannot take reactions this round. So, I mean, either way, it wouldn't be doing any damage, but it's nice to have our bases covered there. And that brings me from 5 power down to 2 power. And I'm going to end my turn.
Cool. Lightning 2 goes Storm Surgeon, which is just moving, deal damage, and then move 1 and then deal damage again. So they are just going into the Pulse Shield zone. There's a special rule here. If you end your turn at the end of the round, any units in the Pulse Shield zone just regenerate shield. So Leaf, you're next.
Okay, you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
This is where it's like, okay, military sci-fi is fun sometimes, unfortunately. I'm going to Mirage Flurry. Effect, gain 1 power. The next one, quick actions, activates twice. Each player that activates at least 1 quick action immediately after this action gains 1 evasion.
Mm-hmm. So you gain 1 evasion. Yeah.
Assuming that I do a quick action after this, which I do plan on doing. It'd be very silly if I didn't. I would like to quick shot, effect choose 1 target in range 1, deal 1 damage to them. I'd like to boost that range with my excess power, so that's 5 power down to 4, and then deal 4 damage to them, and then double that quick action to deal 8 damage to them.
Yeah, so it's 1 for the quick action, 1 to boost, and then so you're spending all your power, right?
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, yep. Boom! One hit, 1 shot, the Titan, and exact damage as well.
We love exact damage here.
We love that scrap.
Cool.
I imagine Willa and Leaf have some sort of like it's equivalent of a high five, but you do it across a battlefield. There's some sort of
broadcasting a high five, emoji signal flare.
On high five frequencies.
Yeah, so does anyone else want to take a quick action now? Because if you do, you'll gain evasion.
Yeah, I'm gonna take advantage of that to
I figured.
The most rapier thing is, and I was gonna do that anyway, is thruster dash and gain and that will bring me down to, so let's see, my power was already depleted by 2 planned actions. It'll be further depleted down to 1 now. But I will gain an evasion.
Just gonna update.
To move just into closer to the pulse shield because I want to take out that lightning guy.
Yep.
So I'll move myself.
And I'll spend 1 power to do a quick shot to this this lightning 2 that is in range now.
Yes.
And that is dealing 1 damage to them.
Yep. And you gain 1 evasion.
I gain 1 evasion.
Yep. Chris, did you want to move? You can do an intercept here and gain evasion.
Well, I guess you guys are taking it quite well. Yeah. Tell me what I can do to help.
You can take quick action. So you could spend a power and move 1 zone. Then if you do, the next enemy plan action must target you if able.
Yes.
And you gain 1 evasion, which lets you like half incoming damage.
Yeah, it sounds like the enemy hasn't made an attack yet, so I will probably be.
Yeah, but you keep the evasion until the end of the round. So.
Okay, I will do that. So I reduce the power to 3. Right.
Yep. So you can move 1 in.
Okay.
With the ripcord. Are you both moving in? Did you move the right one, Finn?
Oh, I moved the wrong person. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Wait,
That's
beside the Google document, is there any the Aishibo open?
Nope.
Okay.
Everything's in the Google Doc.
All right.
Cool. Cool. I think there's no more possible quick actions. All right. Buckles, you're next with the ripcord.
Great. It's time for an erratic slide. I'm not going to boost its bracketed thing, but I am going to I will move here and then gain one more evasion. And then I'm going to since I have such limited response, I'm also going to do my last free action and thruster dash.
Yep. Into the shield, which does nothing for you.
Or wait, I thought the pulse shield was a much larger. Oh, it is larger. Okay, so I am now occupying the same space.
You're in the same zone as L2.
Great. Okay, then I am out of power. I have not triggered L2's reaction.
Because you did it with a quick action. Yep.
Yeah, because I thruster dashed. And that's all I can do.
Good shit. Willa, next sprint?
Yeah. Clarifying question.
Mm.
When it is... Oh, no, it's move up to 2 zones, right? Not 2 zones exactly. Yeah, I will move... What do I want to move? I'll just move 1 zone. I'll move back to hang out with Bob the Guardian.
Nice.
All right.
Cool. Any quick actions before the lightning does their thing?
Block.
I'm out.
The block only... The block only prevents damage to a target in the same range, in range 0, which means you have to be in the same range to block.
Okay.
You have to be in the same zone to block damage.
So I'm not yet. All right, got it.
So you could have tried to like move further in.
Titan.
Yeah.
All right, but not. Okay. Next round then.
Yeah, I mean you can still try and move it closer.
I can.
That's still a
Alright.
thing that you can do as a quick action.
Okay, yeah. I'll do that.
So you're moving into the Titan's zone. Okay. Because that's they have to like they have to target you if possible. Currently they can't reach you. So Storm Surge in deals 2 damage to the Ripcord unless you evade. You want to evade?
Sorry, I muted myself. I'm actually not going to stun the evade. I'll take the 2.
Take the 2?
Yeah.
Okay.
I can reduce that down to 1, right?
Yep.
With Jamming Wave.
Yes. Jamming Wave looks all across the battlefield.
Yeah. How do you?
Oh wait, I have
feel?
no shield.
You have no shield.
I do have 2 evasion. Yeah, if you want to reduce it by 1, I would appreciate that for our long-term purposes.
Yeah. I'll spend my last power just to bring that down.
Yep.
Cool. I take 1 armor.
You take 1 armor. Okay. Well, what is your response now? Your whirlwind strikes.
And it did not choose to do the second half of its storm surge, right?
No,
It
that
did
was
the-
the second half of the Storm Surge.
Oh, that's right. Damage, move,
Yeah.
damage, not
Yeah.
damage, move, damage, move. Okay. Yeah, it's time to do violence to the, let's just say L1. They're both in my zone, right?
Mhm.
Great. I think well, I have two. I do have two evasion, so actually, I think it most well, no, because they're just going to regenerate shield, so I shouldn't bother taking out their shield for each. Yeah, I'm going to focus on L1, take out shield, and then do 2 more damage.
You should probably focus on L2. L2 has taken 1 damage before.
Oh, L2 has taken 1 damage, then that one. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So 4 damage in total.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So lightning unit 2, L2 goes down to 3. L1 is still on full. Chris, do you want to take a quick action? You can.
Quick action would be to.
You can intercept again before the lightning units take their turn.
Yep, let's do that. But
Okay, so you go into the pulse shield. This is a pretty good one actually.
Oh yeah, no, that's good.
Yeah, because you have lots of shield to regenerate. So Bob goes in. L1 Storm Surges, which is, and it's a quick action, so they don't move out. L1 Storm Surges, which is to deal 2 damage to you, to Bob, and then move 1 and deal shield damage.
take 1 shield damage.
So you take 2 damage from L1.
Alright.
And then L1's gonna move away. They have to move because it's not a up to or a must or a may. L1 moves here. And then do you have 1 power left? Right?
I've got 3. Right?
So you should have spent 1 power for every quick action, right? So you started there, so you spent 1, 2, 3. You should have spent 3 power already to intercept 3 times.
Alright.
Yeah. The funny thing is you probably don't need to spend this power at all, because you're just going to regenerate shield at the end of the round. Because L2 is also going to Storm Surge and deal 2 damage to you. And they are cowardly and running away to the other corner. Do you take another 2 damage?
To the shield.
Yeah, 2 shield.
Alright. So I've got 2 left.
Yes. However, at the end of the round, so anyone who has evasion lose your evasion. Evasion is only temporary, so
No. My evasion. I'll never get it back.
Lucky me, I get to regenerate my 0 shields.
Yeah. And then Bob regenerates shield as well because you're in your pulse shield. So you go back up to max to 6.
Oh.
Alright, so all of our evasion is gone across the board.
Okay. Titan's dead. L1 and L2 are still around. Okay. We can go to the next round.
Clarifying question. Because
Yes.
I asked this last time I did this encounter. For the lightning units, the reaction is after a player unit moves in or out of its zone using a planned action.
Yep.
Is that before the rest of the planned action?
No,
starts,
you finish your entire planned action.
Got it.
Then the reaction happens.
Got it.
Okay, I'm just clearing the old initiative. Clearing that. Okay. Yeah, Mirage Flurry, pretty OP.
You know,
I've got. Oh, go for it.
I mean, the way to make it significantly less OP is that the cloned quick action doesn't get like the
The
boosts of the
boosts.
original one. But then
Yeah.
it's like
Where's the fun
it
in
was
that?
also very fun to
Yeah,
do
We
it
love
this way.
combos.
So
Yeah. I'm not saying I'm gonna like nerf it straight away, but it's just
mhm,
especially with like you having 5 power now,
mhm.
and Mirage Flurry returning power as well. So it's a cascade of bonuses. That's fine. This is a playtest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you could imagine on a crowded battlefield being like, okay, I'm not going to do any mobility stuff. I'm just going to be like mirage flurrying and hoping on evasion, and then, you know, a bad roll of the dice and OP things, or they still require some circumstances to.
Yeah.
use.
I'm like, you did a cool thing. You should get to do cool things.
Mhm.
I'm tired of erratic slides. I'm just going to I'm going to inch forward in between all the actions.
I think I'm just going to electrical discharge. If
Mhm.
this pays off, I think I might be able to take one of these two out in one hit.
Pretty exciting.
I should be able to take one out in one hit because mine goes to armor directly instead of. I really wish I'd read this better last time.
That's
I
okay.
am hedging my bets rather than trying to optimize on one thing because I have faith that just a little bit here and there can push us over.
Chris, now that you've seen some more regular combat, did any of the planned actions appeal to you at all? It's pretty chaotic, but some planning and then adapting is also fun. Can be fun. Or very sad.
Chris?
Yeah. Do you have any planned actions, Chris?
Sorry, is it my turn?
There's no turns. You can just do it at the same time. But do you have any planned actions?
No, not. Can I press forward? Pressing advance.
Yeah. Do a
Okay.
pressing. You can plan a pressing advance for sure.
Towards L2.
Just plan the action. Just put the action in. We need to roll initiative before we execute them.
Oh, okay. Yep, I will do that. Now, where do I put these?
So just put your character name and then what action you want. So you want pressing advance. So it will be Bob pressing advance.
Ah, right.
Do you see on the left side of the Mission 01 Encounter 01 tab?
But I have to.
So I've put it in row 6. Columns B and C.
Yep.
Do you want to plan any other actions?
No, that's all. No, that's all.
Chris, do you want to plan any other actions?
No, that's all.
Okay, no worries. Cool. I'm just gonna update everyone's power quickly. Everyone just plan one action, right? Basically.
I planned 2 this time.
Okay. All right. Let's roll. That's
Right. I always forget
14.
to remove power for everything at the start. all of your planned actions at the start.
Right.
Seven.
That is a 16.
That's 2.
That's 10. Okay. Electrical discharge being at speed 4 is a little ridiculous.
It's a little bit.
Little awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not complaining.
I'm not complaining either. Alright, everyone roll. Yeah? Okay.
Looks
D
like.
to A. So, electrical discharge, let's go.
Yeah. I'm going to move up to 2 zones. I'm going to move into the zone of L1. I am choosing one target in range 0. That's this one. I am going to deal shield damage to them. That is 4. So it's going to take out the shield and then also do 2 damage to the armor. And then I can just boost this with my 4 remaining power to do a one-hit kill, right?
Yes.
Yeah, why not? Let's do that.
Okay, goes to 0.
And I'll end my turn.
Alright. Any quick actions before L2 activates?
Question, could I have done a quick action before that?
Before the electrical discharge?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
just going to basically thruster dash my way towards L2.
Yep.
Oh,
And then
apparently.
you want we're going to quick action again.
Oh, actually, I'm close enough, so yeah, no, just the one. Because, right, L2's cornered, and I can move straight from the full field zone, which is 3 wide, right in there. So actually, never mind. The before part doesn't matter. All right, there I am, right up against someone who's about to take 2 aimed shots again.
Yeah.
Presumably me.
Yes, no one has intercepted.
I could.
Yeah, you could intercept.
Intercept is not a bad. That feels like a good thing to do in this moment. Especially
Please,
since
I have no shield.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would do that.
Okay. So Bob intercepts. So the next action has to target you, which is 3 damage. 3 damage to Bob.
So I have
You got plenty of shield. You can take it.
yeah, plenty.
Okay, they are going to aim shot again, unless either of you have quick actions. Does anyone have quick actions?
Please intercept again.
Can I intercept? Yeah, let me do that.
Yeah, and then pressing advance backwards into the shield zone and regenerate all the shield.
Yeah. Okay, so you take 3 damage again.
Alright.
Cool.
Yeah, I've got this cool thing. It's called Mirage Flurry.
Maybe
I
you've
gain
heard
1
of it.
power. The next. Does anyone have quick actions that they would be planning on using here that they would like doubled?
Oh, I mean, I can always just do the quick attack. The old
Quick strike.
whatchamacallit. Yeah, quick strike.
Do we want to try and get exact?
You're so right, especially because I've dared to take 1 armor damage, and so I'm the one who owes this squad salvage debt.
You're gonna. I'll just say your piercing strike deals 3, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
honestly, Juliet, like.
You might not want to double that.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Let it whiff because my next planned action, which is next up, will just do the exact damage.
Okay. So
Yeah.
I don't need to be even jamming anything because we're going to be taking it out before it acts again. Okay.
I mean, you could still do a quick action that doesn't do anything in order to gain evasion, but we're not going to do anything with the evasion.
I don't think I'm going to get dealt any damage.
Yeah. You're going to win next action. Next goal wins. It's fine.
Yeah. So I do a different quick action. I spend a power to broadcast on the high five frequency twice. It's like high five emoji, high five emoji.
Yeah.
Good use of the doubling. Cool.
Yeah. Cool. And then piercing strike just deals exact damage. Yeah.
I was going to be a cheeky bastard and say instead, before piercing strike happens, I do quick strike and boost it. Except you've lowered my reaction speed, so I'm too stupid to do that. So yes, I'll let piercing strike fire off 3 damage exactly, which means we get maximum salvage.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Hey, I bet we'll be able to put together our dead friends with this. So much salvage.
Yeah.
Bring back Bonnie.
So yeah, that's the end of the encounter. So here's the thing for Chris, for Bob. At the end of the encounter, everyone just regenerates shield.
Alright.
So you don't have to worry about it. And for each enemy mech destroyed, you gain salvage equal to half its armor. But if you destroyed them at exactly 0 armor, you instead get full salvage, which is equal to the armor. So all of you get 20 salvage. Salvage can be spent.
Not each of us, all of us.
Yeah.
Collectively, yeah.
Yes.
Not
I need to delete that because. Okay.
It would be fun if it's just like you're behind enemy lines. You have as many resources as you could ever dream of. You are better equipped than you were back in your home base.
Why are we on this?
I mean, it does narratively kind of encourage us to abandon any kind of allegiance and just be like, it turns out being a soldier of fortune is massively better quality of life.
As long as you get exact C's.
Yeah, we become incredibly specific mercenaries.
Just
Or
gotta
Ronin,
be
I
good
guess.
at your job. You just gotta pull yourself up by your bootstraps and get good.
We have no skill issues on this team.
Yeah. All right.
Well, who? We're doing fine without a leader.
All right. After dispatching the guards, you quickly secure the outpost and radio for the rest of your squad to join you. I've revealed Mission 1 interlude. Yeah. Unfortunately, you noticed that the previous inhabitants had managed to send out a distress signal before escaping in a pair of vehicles while you were dealing with the guard mechs. The sensor array in the outpost indicates that a Shohan land carrier has been diverted to your location. You don't have much time. You quickly send an update to your comrades to hurry up. You then scour the outpost for any supplies you can use to patch up your mechs and find a well-stocked mech hangar. This allows you to make field repairs and jury-rig your mechs with replacement parts as needed. Luckily for you, the enemy squad stationed here seem to be using Apex conglomerate designs compatible with your own mechs. I'm going to bring us back to your squad sheet. You have 20 salvage to spend. Gain
Folks,
force supply. Yes?
I'm sorry, I did take 1 armor damage, so I do need to repair that. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry to have taken damage and ruined our perfect score.
You're good.
I bumped this from S down to A.
Gain the following squad item. You now have basic mech repair tools. You can spend 1 salvage to repair 1 armor and spend 1 salvage to swap 1 planned action module. So yeah.
Hey, Aaron.
Yes.
What's the difference between a planned action module and a planned action module template?
Here's the difference. If we go back to Mission 1 Encounter 1, you can pull out planned action modules from your destroyed mechs. If you pay 5 salvage, you recover a complete planned action module that you can immediately swap in to your existing mechs. If you pay 2 salvage, you instead recover a planned action module template, which needs which you will need 5 more salvage to then convert later on.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Oh, payment plan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can a template be implemented multiple times?
No.
Oh.
Great. Thank you.
Good to know.
I'll also draw your attention to the campaign clock. You have 6 vehicles with you. You have 4 mechs. Your upkeep is 10. You have 4 supplies. When the campaign
can you point out where? Oh, the squad sheet.
on your squad sheet.
Okay.
After finishing this this encounter, we take the campaign clock once. If you finish under four rounds, obviously you did. You finished in 2, so you only take it once. If your max went down, or like if you time and you, you have to advance the campaign clock by 2. If you when the campaign clock hits 6, you have to pay your upkeep. If you don't have enough supplies, you can abandon a vehicle to reduce your upkeep. If you still don't have enough supplies, your campaign ends there as you succumb to hunger and despair. So you gotta find some way to get supplies. You only have 4 right now.
And that's including the 4 we gain in the interlude, right? That is the 4.
Yes, that is. You start with 0 supplies. Yeah.
Great.
You ran away with the max and the clothes on your back, basically. Right. Yeah. So Apex is an international conglomerate that swooped in to take over and buy out many of the Kashanmin military suppliers and their assets after the Empire fell. Apex designs are heavily used in the Kashanmin remnant states, as many old factories are able to manufacture compatible parts. Rebel guerrillas, delusional Kashanmin revivalists, and foreign partisans alike rely on Apex for their arms. Judging by the mechs you encountered and the contents of the hangar, it seems that Shohan has also followed suit in using whatever local resources they can get their hands on. In addition, you realize that the outpost defenders must be locals who've been pressed into service with the Shohan military based on the language used on the notes and graffiti you find scattered around the outpost. There's a lot of environmental storytelling happening around here. You're interrupted from your musings and your work as the radio crackles back into life. Your comrades in the rest of the vehicles are calling for help. They are being chased by numerous light mechs, you assume dispatched by the Shohan land carrier. You scramble to finish up your repairs and jump back into your mechs for another sortie. Finish your repairs and swapping planned action modules before we go to Encounter 2. I don't know whether we probably won't go into Encounter 2, but we'll do repairs and planned action modules for now. So, do you want to repair?
I already did.
Okay.
Alrighty, right then. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I stole from collective resources for my individual gain. And I'm so sorry. The mission clock mechanic is new to me, so I just want to make sure I understand. The upkeep, we only pay when the campaign clock fills, so we don't have.
Yes.
Okay. So we're not paying this after every encounter. Oh my god!
Yes.
I was like, okay.
No.
And how do we gain more supplies outside of what we just got as a mission reward?
That comes into play after the next encounter.
Okay, great. Leave it be. I mean, do we want to play conservative with our salvage spending, knowing that we may have to pay a big price at some point, or do we just want to go hog and be like, we are going to perfectly hit the exact armor amount for every single Shohan or local that we murder from now on?
a slightly more powerful attack can be the difference between, needing to repair 8 armor and needing to repair 0 armor, right?
Yeah, live fast, die young.
I am very tempted to replace run and gun with aimed shot and just have no way of moving. I'll move when a
When
When
somebody
you're
else
dead.
what is it?
yeah.
I'll move when a paladin or an ape join our crew and can shift me around.
You're counting on Maya for this. Okay.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
you could pressing advance me
Pressing
around.
advance. Yeah, that's a viable option.
Honestly,
Yeah.
running gun is very versatile, but it's not inherently powerful unless you're willing to spend power.
I'm thinking about actually maybe replacing bullet storm. So I think of myself as a very run and gun mirage flurry.
Feels
Quick
like
shot,
the build
short of-
people going for. Yeah.
Bulletstorm is powerful, but if any of us are like, oh, how can you leave that on the wayside? We can always, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, we can always just take Bulletstorm for ourselves, right?
We can swap these around, right?
Yes, you
Yeah,
can swap
yeah.
them around, but you will have to spend 1 salvage every time.
Okay. So, I mean, if that's what you're feeling, Julia, go for it.
Yep,
Yeah, so
I am.
so you will
I'm
spend
spending
6.
5
plus 1,
5
yeah.
plus 1.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I'm really thinking about my sniper capacity, and if somebody wants bullet storm, then that's available.
Could you add Bulletstorm to the squad sheet?
Oh sure,
Yep.
yes, I just put it.
I'm on it. I'm on it. Don't worry
Okay,
about
you
it.
got it. Great.
Beautiful.
Great. I'm so excited to play like a campaign of this at some point.
Mhm.
Chris, do you wanna take anything from the enemies? So you can pay 5 salvage to just pull out one of their actions, and like it becomes yours, like your
Or
squad's.
planned actions.
Yeah, and anyone can like pay 1 salvage to like install that, swap that in for one of their planned actions. Yeah, for
Yeah.
Finn and Cat. Sorry.
As just a kind of side question, this probably would never make a lot of logistical sense. Would you ever consider for the entire price of the armor of, let's say, one of these lightning units, and 3, like spending 3 to like input my current planned actions, could I take over a defeated like frame and be like, I have this reaction now? But maybe not. And then I assume I would lose my quick actions then, and it'd be
Yeah, it's a bit too complicated.
cool. I just thought I would.
I had the exact same question.
Yeah.
I think what I would make them is like they would just have to be new basic frames that just have the same name and the same planned actions. Like, in a future campaign, like say, hey, you wanna swap in a new frame? It won't look exactly the same as the Titan that you encounter, right? But also, it's not like, so the theme of the game is that like you're cannibalizing and like adapting other people's stuff into your own, and I think that is kind of important thematically.
All of this makes sense.
Logistically, it's also just a pain in the ass, so probably not.
Uh-huh.
Aaron,
But, like-
can I ask a follow-up question to that?
Yeah.
About thematic, so we're PCs, we're governed by humans. I think in the back of my mind, I've always been picturing that all of the enemies are governed by AI, and that's why they get to have reactions. But
Oh no,
from
you've been
your
killing
point of view,
people.
yeah, we've been killing humans. Cool. I mean, not
Yeah.
cool. I mean, just in terms of a like a narrative justification for reactions versus free and quick actions. I was just wondering if, but of course, for maximum emotional damage, we've just been killing very reactive humans.
Yeah, you so
we think
your-
fast, they die young. Okay.
Yeah. Like the reaction thing is just so that the GM doesn't have to deal with quick actions.
Right. No, for sure. I
Yeah,
think I just had I had been projecting a little Ludo narrative good sentence or whatever the word is. But no, we're killing people. All right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And you're killing people who are kind of in the same situation as you, right?
No, we have slightly different
Is there any other
phenotypes.
kind?
That's cool.
Like you are all former Keshanmin citizens, conscripted into the foreign wing of a foreign division, like equivalent to the French Foreign Legion, right?
Yes, but when we win, we'll be citizens.
And
We'll have
I'm a
citizenship.
Taurus.
They are former Keshanmin's citizens that have been pressed into service with the Shohan military. So it's very different.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool.
Bribery is such a strong verb.
But yeah,
I have no use for salvage, so I think, speaking for myself, I'm not done with space to get back to the mechanics part.
This, yeah, like I could see us salvaging maybe one of the what's it called? Storm Surge, but
Storm Surge is pretty strong.
Storm Surge is pretty strong. I feel good with electrical discharge and like my layout, but I would want to make that available for somebody else if they wanted.
Would anyone want, if they don't want to invest 6 in Storm Surge, would anyone like to spend 1 salvage and take Run and Gun? If you're interested.
Not at this time. Even
Okay.
even assuming we were about to jump into a bunch more stuff, I think I want to keep tinkering with the existing loadout. And
Fair.
Storm Surge is powerful, but again, I myself didn't need it. So if no one else wants to salvage it, I say we stay agile by having more salvage for future scenarios.
As long as there's nothing coming out of the mission interlude that's like lose all the salvage that you didn't spend, which who knows? That could happen.
Yeah, this is not evasion salvage. This is fun salvage.
It's also not shield salvage, so it doesn't regenerate. When you stand in the pulsar, you get more metal to put on your.
Okay. Yeah, it's kind of strange where like I think I might have buffed electrical discharge too much. Because previously electrical discharge is kind of like on par with Storm Surge. And now it's not. Now electrical discharge is like way better.
Yeah.
Having a move that has 4 different bracket things in it that you can modify is on somebody who has 5
power,
right, is powerful because you can do any one of these. You could buff all 4 of those.
Oh yeah.
And using all of your power, but it's big, right? So something to note. I mean, I like it, but that's because I am winning right now. So.
A little bit of bias.
Yeah. Who knows? Somebody else is gonna, one of these enemies is gonna have electrical discharge, and it's gonna be a pain to be on the receiving side.
Yeah. How are we all looking for time?
I've got another 45 minutes in me.
Yeah, I'm around. I can take it.
I don't know whether we go and do the full next encounter.
Always fun, right?
Sorry?
This one took us so long.
Yeah. So I don't think I'll do another encounter, but I will just talk through the rest of the stuff, if that's okay.
Sure.
Please.
Yep.
Excuse me, sorry.
Oh, this is where our vehicles come in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Yo!
Encounter 1 is like the tutorial. So this whole campaign is like the tutorial campaign, right?
Mhm.
So Encounter 1, I'm actually very okay with most groups like just breezing past it because it's just about learning the mechanics. Encounter 2 is a lot more complicated. Like there's a lot of text, but it's pretty straightforward in the end. In that like, you did this before, Finn and Carol, where like the vehicles are coming in and you're trying to get them to reach the deployment point, and you will have to try and like go out and defend them, from taking damage,
We love a tower defense.
from being destroyed. Yeah, yeah, it's like a escort mission, I guess. I am on the fence on like I put in like different vehicle types just for like flavor, and then I was like, what if each vehicle does something different? I have a sneaky suspicion this might be too complex as the second encounter. So this is something that I want to test for next time. Is it like too complex for a second encounter? It might be okay once you're in like encounter 3, encounter 4, but for a second encounter, right now my gut feel is that like I want to put the ideas down and maybe revisit them for a later encounter, right? But I do want to try it and see how it goes. So basically, the APC like helps you deal damage, and the LSV can like move between convoys basically. And now that you have 6 vehicles, you will have to defend 2 sets of vehicles rather than previously you only needed to defend 1 set. Like that might be like complexity enough without adding additional rules for the APC and the LSV. Right, so 3 will spawn and then they will start moving, and then another 3 will spawn in the spawn point. Yeah.
Interesting.
Um,
Real quick,
yeah.
if I'm understanding correctly, so do we go to mission 1 if we were playing this? So would we go to mission 1 encounter 2 before going to mission 2 encounter A or B? Okay.
Yeah. So after mission 1 interlude, it will say go to mission 1 encounter 2. And then mission 1 encounter 2, we'll play that. You'll defend your vehicles and you'll try and keep your haulers alive. Because depending on how many haulers you have at the end of the encounter, you go to 2 different mission debriefs.
And that information is hidden from players, or that information is public?
My thought currently is that the mission is hidden from players.
Okay.
Right. So you will only reveal the sheets when you hit them. And I want to tune mission encounter 2 in a way where like it's possible to go either way. So I might need to tweak some of the mission end encounters, like where like, oh, actually you do need 2 haulers to carry all your stuff. So it's instead of at least 1 hauler, you need at least 2 haulers. Just because like it's possible to like randomly start with like 4 haulers but that's fine also, right? If you randomly start with 4 haulers and it just makes it easy for you to go to mission debrief A instead of B, right?
Yeah, it's just one of those branching, like for a roguelite, it's just you're predisposed to go down a specific branching path.
Yeah. Because if you go, yep, yes.
I was going to say, currently, obviously, if that information is hidden, we do see mechanical advantages for APCs and LSVs. I guess it was the only thought I had was like if you want to rug pull people on haulers because they're more like no information means they're more likely to sacrifice haulers, which sets up a rug pull of like no, you did need those.
Oh no, sorry. So this like the mission requirements are clear, right? So you want if you
they are clear. Okay.
If you completed the encounter with at least 1 hauler surviving, or if you completed the encounter with no hauler surviving.
I'm so sorry. I thought these were hidden, or in fact, the entire post. I thought all of this was hidden.
No.
Until it was like, okay.
Only the specifics of the debrief.
Okay. I thought it was like, what you... So, I'm so sorry, but just... And I do think it is useful to point out, like, I think your average person would have assumed they know what they're playing with, but not necessarily what they're playing for. But if they do know what they're playing for, that in fact obviates a whole bunch of my next follow-up questions. So I'm good. Thank you.
No worries. I think as a GM as well as like it's just like look, haulers are important because you need to carry your supplies and salvage around. So you should try and keep them intact. So that's my intentions for the encounter 2 is just to set up an early branch where depending on how many haulers you have surviving, you will get different things, and ramp up the difficulty in the sense of like the first encounter should be pretty easy. Like it should still provide a little bit of a challenge, like just the idea of like, hey, try to hit this thing and take its shield down, a puzzle to solve, and like get familiarized with the tools available to you. Encounter 2 should be the first like challenge. It should feel difficult, and this should be like the default like difficulty you expect from most of the missions going forward. Which is why like looking at it now after designing it, it's like I might have over designed this to have too much stuff, right?
Right.
Yeah, but I'm just like stating out like, okay, this is the thought process between behind the design. So if you've got any like feedback, I mean you don't have to have feedback. I'm just showing you some stuff right now.
I mean,
but if you do have any feedback, like
the one piece of feedback I'd make is I think it is smart to make this one. All of the enemy mechs are the same. I think.
Yeah.
They look the same.
Yeah, all the same.
They're swarms, right?
Yes.
So that you compared to the like learning the Titan and the Lightning, this way you're just learning one because you're also learning the vehicles as the second thing.
Yeah, I will probably still try and playtest this as written, just to like see what the upper limits of complexity are. But that's for next time. I'll draw your attention to mission 1 debrief A and B. So I've started like parceling out mechanics, right? So as you saw, like the mission 1 interlude like ties your repair and salvage to the squad item. So there's a thing called squad items now. So if at least 1 hauler survived the encounter, you get debrief A, in which for each surviving hauler you gain more supplies. Then you roll a d6 and gain that many supplies as you kind of like scour the rest of the base. And this is also when you name your squad. and this is also when you start gaining mod blueprints. So you have another avenue for like spending salvage to like mod your mechs. This is also one of the reasons why I'm like, you probably can like rejig your mech in a way that like mimics the Titan and the lightning a little bit more by like shifting your armor and shield around, adjusting your speed, stuff like that. So you get like basic blueprints here. And if you have your haulers surviving, you start with more supplies for one, but also you didn't have to spend time like fixing up a hauler, so you'll make contact with like a smuggling ring. I've called them the backward donkeys here, but I put it in brackets just in case, because this is a thing where like if the players want to come up with their own smuggling ring name, that's a good opportunity to just like add your own mark to the campaign and like suggest a name for the smuggling ring. Then you get the squad item, which is the smuggler radio. In between encounters, you can sell salvage for supplies, and you can spend supplies to buy salvage at the cost of time on the campaign clock. But if you go route B, if you don't have haulers, you have to spend time and salvage to fix up your either convert an APC or an LSV into a hauler, or to put together an improvised hauler from back parts, which is you have to pay 10 salvage to engineer a new one. And because you don't have time to make deals with the smugglers, you instead you pick up the signals and it's like, you know what, we're just gonna take what we need. So instead of gaining the smuggler radio, you'll get the signal interceptor, and in between encounters, you can take the campaign clock to raid smugglers and roll 2d6. All of your mechs take damage equal to the higher die. You still regenerate shield, just as a reminder, and then you gain supplies equal to the lower die.
That's so interesting, because looking at just our squad, that's mostly a low risk proposition, but having a rapier means it's inescapably a higher risk one.
I mean, it's low risk for all of us, and then we just have enough salvage on hand to keep, spending 1 for 1 to boost your armor, right?
Oh, totally. It's just a different calculation for our makeup versus a different, who knows how much that creeping difference in this seemingly routine raid thing adds up to.
Yeah. It's crew composition is really, once we get into some of the specific fiddly bits of which mods we're taking, that is where some of that really interesting stuff starts to come into play.
And then we go to mission 2 briefing. So after securing your supplies, you realize that the land carrier isn't hitting back immediately. So it's okay, you have time to decide what to do next. So option A is you just go back and go fight the land carrier immediately. Or option B, you go back to your crash site, you bury your dead, and you recover supplies that you might have missed. So option B, you tick the campaign clock because you're spending time, and then you roll d6, gain that many supplies and twice that much salvage, and then you also choose a planned action module from one of the destroyed mechs to recover intact. So you'll go back to your mission 1 briefing, go back to your mech list there, and say, you know what, I'm going back and pulling up a sentinel planned action,
or a pilot, right?
or paladin, or
we
whatever.
can totally save our friends. We can save our friends, right?
Your pals are
pilots.
dead. No. You're just
Pilots.
there to actually bury their bodies.
But enough salvage will bring our friends back from the dead, surely.
Yeah. So encounter A for mission 2. So this is the limit to what I've designed so far. Mission 2 encounter A is a land carrier raid. So you'll fight the skirmishers again. So they haven't like deployed the blades. So they're just defending with whatever skirmishers are left. And you get the option to like flank and like come in from like two sides. If you go for encounter A. And then this will be your first time encountering a blade, which is a more advanced mech that is piloted by Shohan citizens. And potentially for blade breaker purposes, they might be like wired into the mech directly.
Crossover potential.
Yeah. Which explains why you can't. Like it's a thing where like it explains why blade breakers can't just like steal mechs easily. And there's also a mechanical thing in here where like when you steal a blade tech planned action, you don't get the full potential of it. So like the text in the angled brackets you just strike that out when you install it onto your own mech. And I'm thinking in the like later one of the encounters, you might get a mod that lets you choose to gives you the ability to like use blade tech. There's also a new mechanic in here for the Arbalest, which creates temporary zones. And this is something that like months ago, Finn, we talked about. Where like it instead of like elevation, right? Not instead, but like you were talking about elevation, and I was like, I could just like create temporary zones. So like the Crater Maker, like the flavor wise is like it creates a new zone because it just like blasts a crater into the ground, and you are in a separate zone. So like when you deal damage to someone, you put them into a zone, right? Which means they have to spend move to get out of the zone, and like their range is limited by 1. And if you have blade tech, you also set that zone on fire, right? Whenever a unit takes a planned action while in that zone, they take 1 damage. So yeah, there's like 2.
Arbalest. This is a mean one. There's a lot of nasty pieces going on here.
Yeah, and if you isolate someone in a zone, then you can focus shot them and like deal 6 damage at once. If you manage to get the combo off, right? Crater Maker, then focus shot.
I mean, we'll never find out because we will murder it before it gets to go.
Yeah. Yeah. So that encounter also has a thing where the land carrier can defend itself and just like barrage 2 damage to all enemy units in an adjacent zone at the end of the round. And to destroy one of the land carrier guns, you can't target it directly, but if you destroy a unit that is in there, including your own unit, if your mech blows up while you're on the land carrier, then the gun blows up as well. So this gives like the mechs that have like force movement like more of a thing to do, and like, hey, can we try and like kill one of these stupid skirmishers while they're on the land carrier guns to prevent like the continuous damage. Yeah. Otherwise you're like taking a lot of damage. But if you have the smuggler radio, you can just call the smugglers in and like, hey, can you just like help us? And they destroy. You can just get them to like, as a free action, you just destroy the land carrier guns. Don't worry about it.
That's not going to have any consequences in the long run.
Yeah.
Nope.
We love to get a free lunch.
Yeah. Before we get to the thing, so encounter B, instead of fighting like one blade and 4 skirmishers, you will fight 1 blade and 2 other blades. You fight 3 blades. I think like action economy wise, they are about the same, but the blades are have more hit points, have more armor and shield. We'll see how it is. Like I don't know how this is supposed to be the quote unquote harder mission.
Ornaria.
Yeah, but like I'll see. We might still need to put like a couple of like maybe like pepper like 1 or 2 more skirmishers in. And the glaives are simpler. And they can deal charge damage. So they have a specific mechanic, and this is a thing that I'm introducing as well. As like you might have enemies that just have unique mechanics, right? Like the glaive gains charge every time you regenerate shield, and they can deal charge damage directly to armor or like regenerate their own shield automatically if they have charge, essentially. Yeah, and then the idea behind the mission 2 is that if you use the smuggler radio, you have to you have to share the land carrier with the smugglers. And that gives you the option to go rogue. So it might actually be like cool and fun to do it. Where you just decide, we're not going back to the Horizon Division. We're just gonna become a mercenary unit from now on. We'll pretend to have died in the explosion, and we're gonna join the smugglers and just do our own thing. So that's only possible if you use this, if you have the smuggler radio and use it to go to debrief A. If you go to debrief B, that's if you didn't use the smuggler radio and you didn't destroy both the land carrier guns, because they're not required to finish the mission. You could just destroy all the units and like not and just like pull them out of range of the land carrier guns. Destroy the guards, and you take the land carrier intact.
You know what the weakest part of a land carrier is?
The escorts.
The mech using the gun of the land carrier.
Yeah. And then
it's a pilot in the larger analogy.
Yeah. Yeah. If you complete the encounter without using the smuggler radio, and you either destroyed both land carrier guns, or you finished over 4 rounds, right? It took you too long to finish the mission. Then the defenders, then the land carrier is damaged. So you capture the land carrier, but it is heavily damaged. Right. So that's if we jump all the way back to the campaign map, that's the 3 ways to end the campaign. Either you go rogue, there's also the option to abandon the land carrier, and like, fuck it, like if it's damaged or it's too much trouble to like fix it. So if you take over the land carrier, you can either like if you did the easy like encounter A, then you just need to do encounter 2C, which is just like the 2 glaives will attack you and you just need to defend while you fix up the land carrier. Or you go raid Shohan Cache for salvage to repair the land carrier. But then the other 3 options for like ending the game is like you go rogue, you raid Shohan Cage for supplies, and then you take over a Commonwealth base. So you're like, Armored Core style, you're fighting everyone, right? One mission you attack Shohan, next mission you attack Commonwealth. Or if you take the land carrier, if you abandon the land carrier, then you need to take out the anti-air defenses, and the Commonwealth will call in and tell you like, hey, just come back home. We'll clear extraction zone for you, but you need to take out anti-air defenses, and then we'll send in another Garuda to just like pull you out, and you go back and you become, you're part. You rebuild the Horizon division, right?
As citizens.
We'll see about that. And then the final option is if you take over the land carrier, and you call home and say, "Hey, we have a land carrier." They're like, "Good, we have a mission for you." Remember why we got fucked over? Turns out the Shohan had like built a mega carrier that can like field planes and shit. Can you go destroy that instead of coming home?
So with a partially damaged, like stolen land carrier taking on a much more fully equipped carrier. That sounds like, objectives.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So and then they will be like, yeah, just stay there. We will resupply you. We'll send stuff. You have a land carrier. We're just gonna send you stuff. You can stay behind enemy lines and be our Vanguard is behind or front. I don't know. So it's
Vanguard's in front.
Vanguard's in front. So it's like, okay, so the three options for like the campaign that you can play is like either you have full autonomy and become a mercenary group. You go home and continue to be the Commonwealth dogs. Or three, you have limited autonomy in that like you command your own land carrier, but you're still technically under Commonwealth command. And you're in a dangerous situation. You just can't go home, right? You have to continue being, like there's two ways where the campaign can keep going on. One where you're a mercenary, one where you're still a Commonwealth affiliated, and one where you just quote unquote end the mission and go home, and end the campaign and go home. So that's the overall plan.
And the thing where we are like, yeah, we're home base, we're totally, and then we're also trying to do the smuggler stuff. We're trying to like, okay, so half our squadron go do this thing, the other half we were already outnumbered, but let's double down on that by trying to do 2 missions at the same time. I don't know, that might be too much.
Yeah, that's probably a bit too much. But like, my plan is to like, so this is my like roadmap for release, right? It's just finish this campaign, release this, and then it's like, if anyone else wants to do any shit with this, go with God. I'm done. Like, go with God. I'm done.
Great.
Right? It's a good. You got all the pieces, right?
Yeah.
Has anybody else? This is just me being curious. Has anybody else like run it?
No, not yet.
Okay, cool.
Not that Aaron knows of. No.
Yeah.
A nice thing is that like within reason, like the GM does get to do like some gameplay stuff, but once you have like the campaign written, it's like they can kind of do it very like, okay, one of 2 things happens, either it's more than 4 or less than 4. One of 2 things happens. They either do this or they do that, and like you can account for all the branching events because of the structure.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, this is a board game, like a, like a not really a legacy game. You're not like destroying anything here, but like, yeah, this is like a campaign board game more than a role playing game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I've said this before, but it really it really is the best parts of Into the Breach in a fun way.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm having way more fun than I did going into the breach.
To wit,
Aaron, go ahead.
It's been a long time since I've played Into the Breach, but I think you're fighting bugs in that one.
Mhm.
Obviously, bugs.
Yeah,
it would be harder to like salvage from, but I do think it would be totally plausible for somebody to be like, okay, and here's my speed mech campaign where you're fighting against like AI and bug powered robots and whatever. I don't know. I think this but Doom, you know. Anyways, just think about Into the Breach that way.
Very Helldivers.
Yeah.
Aaron, I do wonder, having played a fair number of a good amount of Gloomhaven and Seafall and other kind of campaign type things, how much could this be reduced to a deck of like a real shitty, obnoxious, you want to throw it across the room deck of cards, including just like, I mean, I do think someone does still have to access information that the players don't have, but like within an encounter, could Seismic Slam not have as bracketed information, still just be like targets person with lowest fields nearby, or priority, like targets first, closest person, targets second, most adjacent, fewest fields, that kind of thing. Like, could this automate away the need for
a GM?
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
I'm not opposed to it. It's just that like right now is the easiest way for me to.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
Automata or not, easy. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like potentially, this whole thing is that I have, I'm just trying to get some of the feel of the game up and running, and then some of the, like, I know it is an important part of it, right? Like, you know, if we are running the a simple AI, that design is really important, but like right now, yeah, like right now I'm having fun like running it, but I can also see it's like it can be like much but like whether or not it's like a lot of work for the players to manage, right? If you're managing your own mech, and you're like figuring out and discussing what you want to do and all the options for like quick actions and stuff like that, and then you also as a group have to run the enemies, whether that's too much, and it's just better to have someone whose entire job is to just run, like even if the enemies have rudimentary like AI or like suggestions for like behaviors, I might still want a player to take that role of like keeping track of all that information and like taking that cognitive load off of the mech players.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's the complexity level would be greater than most board games, especially most campaign board games. But you know,
I don't know. I don't know about Gloomhaven.
I guess what I mean is the complexity of what you have to put on the automaton deck. Not in terms of pure mechanical complexity, because Gloomhaven is as close as people living in 2021 are likely to get to a perfect board game, but rather like how much you have to move over to a deck of cards? Do you now have to have like 3 cards each time to cover all the rules text for what information is being revealed? And I'm not even necessarily. I'm doing that horrible thing where I'm being devil's advocate. I'm not necessarily even advocating for fully automating away the DMship so much as one. I'm curious about the cognitive load and that would be moved from a person onto a rules deck versus how much autonomy and like enjoyment and puppeteering and whatever DMs get out of things. Like, what would they truly get if you want to ensure, if you have codified so much, so many contingencies to create balance, what judgment calls remain to compel a GM to stay at the table?
Yeah. No, it's a good question, and like one that like I haven't I say it a bit because one that I haven't had to like answer or articulate. So it's a good question. Yeah. Yeah, because like I'm having fun designing this, and my my thought process behind this, right, is that like I want, and this is like product thinking rather than like design thinking. You know, it's like I want to release this as a thing that like people who have never played this game can just learn everything slowly through a short campaign. You don't have to design. I've designed the encounters for you. You don't have to do any of the design. But this short campaign has 2 endings that are open ended, right? Or if you want, you can just fucking make brand new like basic mechs and give options, and do whatever the hell you want with the basic rule set. Because like my view on this is I'm gonna release this and that's it. Like anything else, like if you want, you could potentially take this and make your own campaign where like, okay, once we finish a session, the GM just has to like design a new encounter, like how we used to do in D&D 4th edition, right? It felt like every time like if I'm not running a box adventure, every time I design a new like encounter for like a 4th edition session, I'm like kind of like level designing a game, right? And like whether or not it's just like here's a list of like some cool mechs that you can use, and like like before I settled on the raid just being a 2d6 thing. My thought was like, what if like at any time you can just do a skirmish raid, a skirmish encounter, right? Like where all, you know, like it's like a procedurally generated. Here's a random map. Here's a hauler that you have to steal from, and here are 3 defenders. Like, just roll a random encounter and like steal shit, you know. So that was my that was my initial thought before I went to like I'm just gonna do 2 alternate ways to like gain more supplies and salvage. Gain more supplies immediately. So it's like the thought is that like I put this out as like, look, if you want to treat this as a game, limited game, play this, right? And then if you want to like use this as a template to then start making your own, you know, you can GM this and like design your own encounters week to week. That means does that mean I have to put together a list of like a
series of design principles or mechanical guidelines for developing your
monster
own content?
Yeah.
A deck of
monster
mech.
manual.
A mecha deck? A mech
mech?
deck? like each one of these is on a card, so you can like deal out the.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, there's 3.
Yeah, but like,
mechanisms.
so my feeling on that is that like I will put together a document that's just like, look, all the stuff that's in this campaign, I'm just gonna put it in one place, right? So if you want to mix and match from the existing stuff that I've made already, feel free. But if you want to do more than that, I even if I have to commission someone else to do it, it's like, fucking y'all do it. I don't want to do it anymore.
Aww.
Not that I don't love like making this game. It's just that like I wanna
You gotta
make this game and then move on and make another game.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta get to a point where you can say like, here's the thing, take it or leave it. Keep take what you want, keep doing your own, and call it a day, right?
Yeah, yeah. And then like if I feel like it, I'll just like, hey, here's a little map that you can play. For like, if you go for the mercenary or the land carrier route, like here, every 6 months when Aaron feels like it, here's a new encounter map.
Well, don't say every 6 months because you're gonna be setting yourself up for a schedule in that.
Oh, no, not every 6 months. Like I'm not telling anyone. It's just like, oh, in 6 months, like I suddenly feel like making a thing. Here's 2 pages, right?
It's not board games as live service.
No. This is no commitment. This is like you'll receive a notification from the ether as like, hey, here's a new speed mech drop.
Yeah.
Right?
Honestly, it's very Steven Jackson games, like that classic indie, like we are printing on practically toilet paper type approach to board game shit, which is my exact jam. But yeah.
Yeah, because like I playtested this physically in person and it works, but it's so much fun doing this in a spreadsheet with the auto sort. Yeah. So my preference is to release this as a Google Sheet and a Excel sheet. The most lo-fi video game.
Yeah. Play with punch cards.
Yeah. That's like the overall very like zoomed out level. Like, hey, what does it mean to like make and release games? Kind of like thinking. But yeah. Do you all have any feedback on how things went today? So.
Oh yeah, should we talk about the controller? Should we talk about the new stuff, or have we already?
Yeah. So
being like specific powers were OP.
Yeah. So the 2 pieces of feedback is like mainly the mission briefing. Like, how did it feel to like, hey, you have named squads loaded onto like the death machine, and then you pick from those, versus like freely picking, and then hey, how are these controllers?
Yeah.
I loved.
Good.
I loved the grid is going down. It felt very tied further back to board game stuff. What are they called? There's a like card-driven game that is various World War II battles, but the big innovation is tying human names to units so that you become further attached to them. And this wasn't the same thing. These weren't named units, but just the sense of loss created this negative space where it was like, whatever options I have left, I don't feel like, ugh, I have to pick between a halberd and a paladin. It was like, oh my god. we don't get to play with Tempests because the Tempest took a fucking hole through the hull. Or, you know, the Garuda that had all the controllers because they were the best of us. They were the vanguard. So I do think that, like, the brain fills in, for me at least, the brain fills in a certain amount of emotional investiture that was equivalent to